This is the moment nobody saw coming. Shedeur Sanders just got added to the Pro Bowl roster, and within minutes, the entire football internet went into chaos. Fans were celebrating. Analysts were arguing. Insiders were scrambling to explain how a fifth-round rookie suddenly found himself on one of the NFL's biggest stages. Love him or hate him, one thing is undeniable: Shedeur Sanders just moved the needle in a way very few young players ever do. Think about how wild this is. A quarterback who started only part of the season, a player many teams passed on in the draft, and now his name is sitting next to the league's top stars in the Pro Bowl conversation. That alone is enough to trigger debate. But what really made this explode was the reaction. Reporters calling it genius, critics calling it a joke, fans flooding timelines with clips, memes, and hot takes. This wasn't a normal roster update. This was a cultural moment. And here why this matters. The Pro Bowl hasn't carried the same weight it used to. Viewership has been sliding. Interest has faded. Most fans barely pay attention anymore. But the second Shedeur's name popped up, people started talking again. That's not an accident. That's influence. That's attention power. Whether the league planned it this way or not, the result was instant buzz. Now let's be clear, the debate is real. Some analysts immediately pointed to the stat sheet. Limited starts, mixed results, wins and losses. Others pointed to something completely different: magnetism, popularity, fan engagement, the ability to make people care. And that's where this story gets complicated. Because the Pro Bowl isn't just about performance anymore. It's also about entertainment. It's about eyeballs. It's about who people actually want to watch. So the question isn't just, did Shedeur deserve this? The bigger question is, what does this say about where the NFL is headed? Are we moving into an era where star power matters as much as stats, where attention equals opportunity? Because once you hear what insiders, reporters, and former players are saying about this decision, you'll realize this Pro Bowl moment is about way more than one roster spot. It's about the future of football marketing, fan culture, and how young stars build momentum in today's league. It started quietly, a simple update. Shedeur Sanders was added to the Pro Bowl roster as a replacement, but within minutes, that notification turned into a wildfire. Sports pages pushed alerts, reporters rushed to post reactions. Fans flooded comment sections arguing over whether this was genius or madness. And the headline itself was enough to make people stop scrolling. A fifth-round rookie, Pro Bowl selection. That combination doesn't happen often. In fact, Shedeur became the first fifth-round rookie to get Pro Bowl recognition since Puka Nacua, and that comparison alone added fuel to the fire. People instantly started drawing parallels, stacking expectations, and debating what this really meant. What made this even bigger was the team context. The Cleveland Browns haven't exactly been known for quarterback stability over the years, so seeing Shedeur's name attached to a Pro Bowl announcement felt symbolic. For some fans, it looked like hope. For critics, it looked like hype. Either way, it grabbed attention. Almost immediately, media personalities jumped in. Some praised the move as smart for the league. Others questioned the credibility of the Pro Bowl process. And that split reaction is what turned this into more than just news. It became a storyline. Because this wasn't just about one player getting recognition. It was about what the Pro Bowl represents now. Is it still an honor based strictly on performance? Or has it become a showcase built around entertainment and star power? That tension is exactly why this announcement hit so hard. It forced fans to confront an uncomfortable truth about modern sports. Popularity matters, marketability matters, and sometimes those things outweigh traditional metrics. But once the initial shock faded, the real arguments began. And that's when the numbers, the games played, and the on-field production entered the conversation. Because not everyone was ready to celebrate just yet. This is where the conversation really heated up. As soon as Shedeur's Pro Bowl spot was announced, critics went straight to the numbers. How many games did he start? What was the win-loss record? Touchdowns versus interceptions. completion percentage. They pulled out every stat they could find to argue that this wasn't a traditional Pro Bowl resume. And on paper, the arguments made sense. Shedeur didn't play a full season. He stepped into a tough situation midstream. The Browns weren't exactly stacked with elite offensive weapons. His record was mixed. His stat line wasn't flashy. That gave skeptics plenty of ammunition. But supporters fired back just as fast. They pointed out context. He wasn't walking into a perfect system. He wasn't protected by a dominant offense. He was thrown into a difficult situation and still managed to keep the team competitive in multiple games. They argued that impact doesn't always show up cleanly on a stat sheet. Then the conversation shifted, because this wasn't just about performance anymore. It became about visibility. Shedeur's games pulled attention. His highlights traveled fast on social media. His name trended after nearly every appearance. And that raised an uncomfortable question for traditional fans. What does the Pro Bowl actually reward now? Pure production or player interest? Because in today's league, attention is currency. Players who drive engagement don't just sell jerseys. They sell broadcasts. They sell storylines. They sell tickets. And that's where Shedeur's case becomes unique. Even with limited starts, he generated massive discussion. Love him or hate him, people watched, people reacted, people debated. And that kind of response is rare for a rookie. But the debate didn't stop with fans. Media personalities jumped in next, and their reactions added another layer of chaos to the entire situation. Once the news broke, sports media went into full debate mode. Analysts, reporters, and former players all lined up with opinions, and almost none of them agreed. Some called it a smart business move by the league. Others said it watered down the meaning of the Pro Bowl, and that clash of perspectives only made the story bigger. One side of the media argued that this was pure entertainment strategy. The Pro Bowl isn't what it used to be. Viewership has dropped. Fan interest has cooled off. So bringing in a player who instantly attracts attention makes sense. They pointed out that Shedeur brings eyeballs, conversation, and energy to an event that's been struggling to stay relevant. The other side wasn't buying it. They said honors should be earned strictly through performance. They argued that giving Pro Bowl recognition to a player with limited games sets a dangerous precedent, that it sends the wrong message to veterans who grind through full seasons. For them, this wasn't innovation, it was dilution. And then there were the middle ground voices, the ones who admitted the stats weren't elite but still acknowledged the impact. They said two things can be true at once. Shedeur might not have a classic Pro Bowl stat line, but he absolutely has star power. And in today's NFL, star power isn't optional, it's part of the business. What made this even more intense was how emotional the reactions became. Supporters defended him fiercely. Critics doubled down. Every take sparked another argument. Every clip went viral. The story fed itself. And while the media argued, the NFL quietly benefited. Because controversy creates attention, and attention brings viewers. Whether people tuned in to support Shedeur or criticize the decision, they were still tuning in. But there's another layer to this story that doesn't get talked about enough: the team context. Because this Pro Bowl moment also says something important about where Shedeur stands inside the Browns organization. This Pro Bowl moment isn't just about Shedeur Sanders as an individual. It sends a message about the Cleveland Browns too. For years, the franchise has struggled to find long-term stability at quarterback. Different starters, different systems, constant resets. So seeing a rookie quarterback tied to a Pro Bowl headline instantly changes the narrative around the team. Even critics admitted one thing: Shedeur stepped into a difficult situation. The roster wasn't built around him. The offense wasn't tailored to his strengths yet, and he didn't get a full offseason as the clear starter. Despite all of that, he showed flashes that made people pay attention: quick decision-making, confidence in the pocket, willingness to take risks, leadership presence that stood out for someone so early in his career. That's why some insiders see this Pro Bowl appearance as symbolic, not proof that he's already elite, but proof that the league sees potential, proof that his ceiling is being taken seriously. When organizations start getting this kind of recognition early, it often leads to more opportunities, more trust from coaches, and more investment in player development. It also puts pressure on the Browns. If you've got a quarterback who's already generating national attention, the next step is building properly around him. Better protection, stronger weapons, smarter play calling, because expectations rise fast once a player gets this kind of spotlight. And for Shedeur, this moment changes how he's viewed moving forward. He's no longer just the rookie trying to prove himself. He's now a player people expect growth from, people expect improvement from, people expect leadership from. But with higher expectations comes higher scrutiny. Every throw next season will be analyzed. Every bad game will be amplified. Every mistake will be magnified. That's the price of early attention. Which brings us to the biggest question of all. Is this Pro Bowl moment the start of Shedeur's breakout era? Or is it setting the bar dangerously high before he's fully ready? If there's one thing this Pro Bowl announcement proved, it's this: Shedeur Sanders doesn't just have supporters. He has a movement. The reaction online wasn't quiet. It was loud, emotional, divided, and that's exactly what creates viral momentum. Supporters flooded social media celebrating the moment. They saw it as validation, proof that Shedeur belongs in the conversation, proof that his impact goes beyond box scores. They pointed to how many people tune in when he plays and how quickly his highlights spread. To them, this was overdue recognition. On the other side, critics weren't holding back. They called it hype. They questioned the fairness. They argued that veterans with stronger stat lines deserved the spot more. Some even said the Pro Bowl had officially lost credibility. But here's the reality. Both sides helped Shedeur. Every argument boosted his visibility. Every debate kept his name trending. Every reaction added fuel to the story. In today's sports culture, attention is power. And whether people love you or criticize you, they're still watching. That love-hate dynamic is what separates stars from regular players. Neutral reactions don't move the needle. Strong reactions do. And Shedeur clearly creates them. That's why he keeps showing up in headlines. That's why networks keep talking about him. That's why fans keep engaging. It also shows how quickly his profile has grown. Very few rookies generate this level of emotional response this early. Most take years to build that kind of presence. Shedeur did it in months. But this attention war isn't just about social media noise. It's shaping how his career will be viewed moving forward. Because once a player becomes this polarizing, every step becomes a storyline. And the next step could be the most important one yet. So now the debate comes full circle. Is Shedeur Sanders' Pro Bowl selection an earned milestone, a smart marketing move by the league, or the beginning of something much bigger? On one side, the critics have a point. The stat sheet isn't dominant. The sample size is small. The Pro Bowl used to represent pure performance. That argument isn't going away. But on the other side, the impact is impossible to ignore. Shedeur brings attention. He brings energy. He brings conversation. And in today's NFL, that matters more than ever. What's clear is this moment changed how people view him. He's no longer just a rookie fighting for relevance. He's now part of the league's headline conversation, part of the entertainment ecosystem, part of the future narrative. That's powerful positioning for someone so early in their career. And this could be the turning point, the moment that motivates him to level up, to silence critics, to justify the spotlight, or the moment that adds pressure and forces him to grow faster than most players ever have to. Either way, the league is watching, fans are watching, and next season is going to be the real test. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think Shedeur deserved the Pro Bowl spot? Or was this about popularity over performance? Drop your take in the comments. And if you want to stay locked in on all the Shedeur Sanders updates, behind-the-scenes NFL drama, and rising star stories, make sure you're subscribed, because this story is far from over.